Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
Where I think it comes from also is understanding your purpose. And at the end of the day, it took a while for me to get there. But as I matured, I found the purpose. The purpose was, like, I want to have a positive impact in as many lives as I can.
Today, I'm chatting with Josh Mason, former Division I football player and founder and owner of Fame Strength. In this episode, we talk about choosing the purpose-driven path, both on and off the field. This episode is brought to you by Cavanaugh's Grille, one of my favorite places to eat and drink in any PA. They've got one of the best outdoor patios with 13 TVs and over 20 beers on tap. You can also dine inside at this cozy Irish-style pub where your beer never goes empty. Did I mention how delicious their food is? Their in-house smoked brisket, barbecue ribs, and wings are to die for. So grab your friends and have a drink on me at Cavanaugh's. Mention code STACKS for one free draft beer with purchase of any entree when you dine in. Located at 163 North Main Street in Mountaintop, Cavanaugh's is open at 4 p.m. during the week and 12 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday during football season. Dine in today at Mountaintop's only Irish-style pub. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn Board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn Board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn.
Hey Northeast PA, Paul Perfect Storm here. Do you want your kitchen or bathroom to go from this to this? Well, Perfect Storm can do it.
Need a kitchen or bath remodel and don't know who the experts are? Perfect Storm Renovations. Expert designers and installers who can help you achieve the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Schedule your free in-home design today. Perfect Storm Renovations. High-end quality anyone can afford.
What's up, podcast? It's Bill Corcoran Jr., host of the On the Stacks podcast here in the Blue Door studio, protected by our friends at Ritchie Security Solutions. Josh Mason, welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? In the building.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, welcome.
Feels good. I love the spot.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I'm pumped to have you here, no pun intended.
Yeah. Hey, listen, watch that weight, dude.
Right?
I'm excited myself, man.
Yeah, thanks for taking it easy on me with the 20-pounder here.
Yeah, I told you I was looking in the inventory. I was like, you know what? We might have to bring this level.
Yeah, give me the lightweight for the lightweight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is, man.
Yeah.
It's all good. You got to start somewhere.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody starts somewhere.
That's it, man.
I'm big on that.
That's it.
I'm big on that. But so before we get into this, I just gotta say something real quick. You know, there's a huge percentage of people, you know, that listen to this show, a massive amount of people that listen to this show that aren't subscribed on YouTube. And this show there's an audio version, but this show is also full video on YouTube. So if anyone's watching right now and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Help me out. It'll make the show better. It'll keep us growing and keep us getting your mind right.
That's
which
right.
is your
get
your
mind
thing.
Right.
Get your mind right.
Mind right and subscribe, man. Don't hesitate.
That's right.
Right.
Listen to this guy.
That's it.
Yes. All right. So get your mind right. That is you got it on your wristband.
Man. So I said, when in doubt, check your wrist out.
Check your wrist out.
All right.
It's like two things here.
Yeah, man.
So where does that start? What is that?
Yeah. So there's beginnings. There was a transition in my life where, you know, my past, I was a football player, right? Played D1. I decided to hang up the cleats. That was a major blow to me, right? You know, because that was my identity. So I struggled when I hung up the cleats. I struggled with that transition, because now I'm no longer Josh Mason, the football player, right? It was like, man, who am I now, right?
So when was this? When did you hang up the cleats?
This was 2009, 2008. I think 2008, going into 9. So that was, boom, hung up the cleats. And like I said, I struggled with that transition. So I didn't know, like, what's next, because the dream was always to go to the league. So knowing, like, that was not it now, like, I was like, uh-oh, right? So I fell into, like, a dark spot. Dude, honestly, I fell into a dark spot, was just trying to, like, figure things out, trying to figure out the next move, looking for direction, not sure what it was, not sure if it was, like, I missed my dream, like, you know, you had all those effects. And
what did that do to you mentally?
Yeah, listen, dude, it beat me up. And I look at myself as a strong dude, but I think at that point I wasn't as strong as I thought I was. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So after, you know, playing football, it was just, you know, everyone knew me from that. So, like, when I came home, it was like, oh, man, you know, Josh, you know, how's football going? My parents, my family, like, they looked forward to it. So, like, when it was over and I was like, hey, listen, I'm done, it was like a loss. I was lost. I was just lost, dude, you know, for a moment. And I didn't really know what to do. You know, I didn't know where to turn. And it was like I was in my studio apartment down in Philly, so I'm at Temple. And I was sitting there. I'm like, you know what, dude? Like, I could sit here and just be, like, lost and, you know, woe me. But it was like, dude, you gotta do something. Like, you can't sit here. I wasn't built like that on the field. So now that this is my field, so I'm like, you know what? What I'm gonna do is just treat life like my new sport, because that's what I was good at, right? So I was great at sports, and football was my thing. So I was like, I'm just gonna make a switch. I'm just gonna say, all right, I'm done with football, but I'm still playing a sport, and it's a sport of life, right? So I'm gonna take this and go after this just like I did on the field. And in that moment, I was like, I just got to get my mind right? Like, I just got to get the mental over. And once I understand that, it's a go. So once I knew that, get your mind right, it was like, all right, mentally, I got to do it. So I started making moves, reading. You know, I continued to work out because that just kept me, you know, going. And that was like the evolution of me. Like, that was the evolution. And as, you know, I was able to accomplish and go on and move on and do things, it was more or less like, hey, I was able to do that because I got my mind right. Because there was that moment where I had to make the switch. And until that moment, nothing changed. So now when I say, hey, get your mind right, it's like you got to be in the right place, right? You have to have the right words. You have to have the right energy, the vibe, all of that, in order to go after something. And that's kind of where it was born for me, dude. You know? I
love this.
Yeah.
I love where this whole episode,
Yeah.
I feel where it's going.
Yeah, man, it's good energy, dude.
Oh, man.
You know?
And, you know, we got to give, before we go any further, we got to give our shout out to our boy, Jimmy Martin.
Yo, Jimmy T.
You know?
I say Jimmy T.
Jimmy T.
Burn Martin.
Jimmy T.
Burn
Yeah.
Martin, right?
Yeah, that's right. Burn in the competition.
Burn. Yeah,
you know?
that's the dude.
Yeah, so shout out to our boy Jimmy for connecting us.
All day.
You know? Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
And Jimmy is, he's a GOAT himself.
Yeah, he is.
You know?
Yep, I like him.
Yeah, he's the dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He stopped at the 44th location last week. Brought the boards out.
Did he?
Yeah, he jumped in the workout.
Yeah, did you do one? Did you get on that board?
I got on the board, man.
Are you hashtag on board?
Am I hashtag on board? So I dropped the story, all right? So I have to get the coaches on. I'm going to get the coaches out. I'll put the story on. But I have a burn board in the fitness facility right now. So he let me borrow it. So I'm going to try to get some people on it. But I had a blast, dude. We had a blast. And he got a taste of our workout. And he was like, damn, dude, this is legit.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, yeah, I try to tell you, man.
Awesome. Nice. So cool. Yeah, but you and Jimmy go way back from what I understand, right?
Yeah, way back.
Way back.
So we're talking like YMCA wrestling years.
Kids.
Like, yeah, YMCA Scorpions. Like that
We're
was
the Scorpions.
The Scorpions, man. It was crazy, right? But we had like a legit ass team. Like they were just dogs, like from the the lowest weight class
Yeah.
up to the heaviest. It was dogs. So that was a good crew. But yeah, we go back, man.
That's cool.
You know?
Yeah. So I'm so glad he connected us, and we're gonna have a dope episode today for
absolutely.
sure. So yeah, man, thanks again for coming in. I love I love everything about you, your brand, right, and just your story. It's incredible, man. You know, so going back to like the fitness thing, you know, and like you said, that when you felt like you got in that rut, right, like after football, I feel like a lot of athletes, especially, we'll say somebody like you, who, you know, like you said, you had aspirations to go to the league, right, and then that doesn't happen, right? How, you know, you get in that rut, and I feel like a lot of other athletes, even if they do get into the league, and then say after the league. Right.
Same thing.
Then what?
Right.
It's kind of that same, because I've known professional athletes in a similar situation that even after they got out of the league, then kind of got into that similar rut. Well, it's like, well, now what?
Right.
Because like whether it's football or any other sport, like it's basically your life.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's it. Like you live.
That's your identity.
You live and breathe. That sport. And once that's over, then what?
Yeah. Then what?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what would you say for people, you know, for anyone that has, you know, either is struggling or has struggled with that? Like, what do you recommend?
So, I mean, you have it on your sweatshirt.
This is it right here.
Yeah, you have it on your sweatshirt. So the thing is
I read it on your website too.
Yeah, dude. So ultimately, I would always advise, and I do this today, is when you are stuck or in a rut, or you know, it's a next chapter, so to speak. You got to find your passion so you can be obsessed with it.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
I think I wore this for a reason.
Yeah. You have to find your passion so you could be obsessed with it, and you got it down. So, because once you find that, that's when, you know, the reborn happens. Like now your life is back in action. You know, you got the energy lined up. Now you have that fuel again, right? Now the fire's lit. But until then, it could feel right, like stuck, plateauish. But you gotta find your passion. So that's my first thing is, hey, explore as much as you can so you know what you like and what you don't like, right? So, I mean, after your chapter, it's just explore as much as you can. Pick things, random things outside of the box, things that you think you're interested in, some things that you might think are weird. Just like try it out, because you just never know. There's a couple things that could come from it, right? Like one, you're gonna learn a lot about yourself, right? You're going to be forced to grow. And then in three, like you're going to meet people, dude, right? And like you just never know where that goes. So it's like you have to get comfortable. It's a saying, get comfortable being uncomfortable after that stage, and start looking for that.
Yeah. So all right, let's go back to the passion obsession thing for you, because I obviously I have it on my hoodie here. So I'm like, you know, it's a big thing for me, and I think, and sometimes a lot of people ask me, like, for people that don't understand, they'll be like, yo, what does that even mean? Right. And I'm going to let you answer it though, because I already, you know, I know what you're going to say, I feel like, but sometimes people are like, what does that even mean? Like that, what's the point? Right.
Right.
But let's talk about it for a little bit, because I think it's so important to really find, you know, like I'll say, like your purpose.
Yes.
Right. In life. And I always say, and the reason why passion is crossed off is because, you know, you can be passionate about a million different things.
Sure.
You can be passionate about anything.
Sure.
Right? But then it comes to a point where you become obsessed with something, and it's more than a passion. A passion could just be a hobby too, and something that it's just going to be a hobby forever. Yeah. Right? And that's cool. That's fine. That's fine, right? But if you find something that you feel like maybe becomes your purpose in life, you know, that's why then passion gets crossed off. Yeah. And you kind of get to that next level. Right. Right? That next level, which is, you know, obsession. I think to be successful in really any field, whatever it is, you really got to become obsessed and hone your craft.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So to take me back to a little bit for you when it became an obsession.
Well, I think the biggest note is to understand that that's all you think about, right? So I think that's the jump when it goes from passion to obsession. Like when you're obsessed with it, it's like that's all you think about, nonstop, 24/7, like every time, like. And it's not out of your head. That's all you everything you link to that, right? Everything you link to that. So, you know, for me, it was like, hey, listen, all right, football's over. I got to jump in. What's my next move, right? I'm going to treat life like sports, so I'm going to compete. I'm going. Let's go. So I started taking on internships. And what I started doing was like, my first thought was like, hey, I want to work for a professional sports team. And I'm in Philly, so you got the Flyers, the Eagles, the Phillies. You got a bunch of the arena teams. So I want to work for a professional team.
That's what you thought?
That's what I thought. Like after,
and like what? Like doing what though?
I knew I wanted to be around sports.
Okay,
right?
so yeah, you're trying to
You
got to stay in the sports world.
I know I want to be in sports. So, all right, I want to work for a professional sports team. I'm in college. We get internships. So now I started applying for internships. The cool thing about the internships, I got major experience, right? But I had like 8 internships, dude. Like 8.
Wow.
Like, dude, I was hungry.
Savage.
I love
that.
But the cool thing was this. The reason why I loved it, and here's the thing, like, didn't get paid for one. So, like, I'm putting in hours, dude, right?
You're doing work.
But that didn't mean anything to me because all I knew, I was gaining experience and I was gaining, like, industry knowledge. Things that were going to help me in my future. I already knew that. So it didn't matter if you paid me, right? But also what I was learning was what I did not like, right? So as I'm getting into these internships, you work, I think my first one was for the 76ers. So boom, go to the 76ers. And it's like, cool, right? Like, 'cause you get to see all the NBA stars and you're at the game and it's live and it's a nice thought. But naturally for me, I was like, man, this is not it, dude. This is not what I thought it would be.
Yeah, like what? Like what were you doing? And like what were the things that you discovered?
So I think my first one was just game operations, right? So you would be in the office during a normal day, right? So you got the cubicles because now you're numbers, dude. Like you're just employee. So, but I'm an intern at this point, so in the cubicles. And then if it was game night, we would then have duties and responsibilities throughout game night to carry out. And that was that. So at first it was cool because I'm on the court, I get to see these players and all that's good. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, dude, I'm not feeling this. Like I'm not in this cubicle. Like that's not me, right? That's not me. So I was like, all right, let's just try a different department, So I started exploring and I got into statistics. Then I was doing arena management. Then I was doing field operations. So I was doing it all, right? And this is going throughout different people. So it was a little bit with the Eagles, a little bit with the we came back home. That we had an arena team, the Pioneers. I was with Scranton Wilkes-barre Yankees. So we were jumping all around. And but what I was figuring out, I was like, dude, I'm not the office guy. Like that's not what I want to do. So okay, if you're not the office guy and you want to work in sports, what's your options? Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm like, all right, you could coach. I'm not trying to coach. Like that was my first thing. I'm not trying to coach, right? Only because in college I remember the hours, like, man, they lived there. Like, dude, it was bad. I was like, shit, they don't go home.
Yeah.
Like there's no life except that. And I was just like, that doesn't seem like appealing to me. So I'm like, I don't really want to coach, but what else can I do in sports? And, I loved working out. Obviously it was all through my years in high school, college, and I loved it. And I took on an internship with strength and conditioning. And when I did that, I was like, this is it, dude.
Where was this at?
This was at Temple. So I knew this was it because I was hands-on. And that was the thing. So I was like, hey, I want to work in the sports world, but also I need to be hands-on, right? So the idea of, I had that dream of going to the league, but why not be a part of the process of preparation, right? Why not be the process of, because now these people or these individuals have these dreams and aspirations. So why not be a part of that? So that was kind of where it all gelled together. Like, all right, I'm going to be a part of the process and the preparation. I'm going to prepare these athletes. So that's where I really dove in, man.
Yeah. So for you, it was, all right, you didn't get to the league,
mm-hmm.
right? And it's like, well, the next best thing is I now become part of somebody else's journey in helping them get to the league.
Yes.
So that's what you became.
That's what it was,
Wow.
And I'll take you back because there was a seed that was planted first. All right.
Before that.
All
right.
So when I was playing I went to Rhode Island first. So I was up at URI and one of my boys took me down to Jersey and he was like, hey, listen, we're going to work out at my gym. I was like, oh, all right, cool. So all I knew was the gyms that we have locally, right? So you got like your high school gym, you got like the YMCA, we got Danko's, Odyssey, like that's what you know. And he's like, yeah, we'll go. I was like, all right, no doubt. So boom, we roll up to this warehouse, and they got this garage door. It's open, and it's just athletes, like grinding. And I'm like, dude, what the hell is this? And he's like, oh, this is where we work out. And in that moment right there, I was so pissed off. And I was so pissed off because it was such an advantage and a resource that they had that we didn't have. And in that moment, I was like, dude, we don't have anything like this back at home. Nothing. And I remember then I was like, if I don't go to the league, I'm bringing this back home. So that's where the seed was planted. I was like, that's what I want to do. So like I said, I started gearing towards it. So when I got to that internship at Temple, I was like, okay, I want to be part of the process in the preparation. I knew I was like, all right, I'm gearing up for that. And that's kind of how it like started to bloom.
That's so cool, man. Right? That's such a cool story. Yeah. Wow. So all right, so then what? So you come out of the league. You didn't get the league. Yeah. Right. So and now you did you come back home? Like, I
did.
Like right at this point?
Yeah. So
like immediately.
Yeah. So graduated, came back home, and I was like, okay, I have to start the wheels. Right. I have to. So this is, because I finished in 2009, top of 10. I think I graduated in the fall semester there, and I'm home and I'm like, all right, I got to get the wheels turning. So at this point, I'm like, I have to bring money in though. Right. So
you plan like I'm doing this thing like right now, like.
Yeah, but I got to get a job first.
Okay.
Right. So I got to get a job. And at that point I had my first daughter. All right. So I already had like a 1-year-old at that point. And I knew I had to like make moves. I was like, all right, I got to be strategic here. Yeah. I got to get, the money in first. So I started serving. I was at Red Lobster, man, seafood expert though. Right?
Lobster expert.
Yeah, all day. So serving. Then the casino added tables, right? They brought them in.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
So I went to the school for that. So I went to their little school. I was training. I was the first phase of the table dealers. So boom, I was taking that on. So now as far as financially, I'm kind of set up. Like I have cash on the weekends from the Red Lobster, and now I was working full time at the casino. So everything was set up at that point. So now I'm like, all right, well, it's time. I got to roll this out. In the meantime, my wife, she was doing hair on the back porch of her mother's. And when I got out of school, I was like, we got to find a spot. So anyways, I go look for a spot for her. We get her set up in a building, right? So the salon's operating. I'm helping out the business end of it. And, it's rocking and rolling. So still, I'm like, all right, what am I doing? This dude had this big building. It was huge, big warehouse. And I asked him, I said, hey, listen, I'm going to be here a lot with the salon. You mind if I put like a cage, a couple dumbbells in this space? He was like, yeah, no worries. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm just going to tell him I like to work out. So I'm going to work out while in between. So start working out. And then I start, telling people like, hey, come work out with me. We got a couple high school kids. We got a couple adults, bringing them over. And so I'm working them out. Now, I'm not charging, right? But in my mind, I know what I'm doing. I'm creating this mecca that I want, right? I'm creating this empire. So I'm like, all right, so we're going to do this. Started going throughout the summer, started growing, right? So I'm getting a decent crowd in there. And the owner comes up to me and he's like what's going on?
What's happening here?
Like, what's going on? I was like, oh, nah, man, they just like to work out, right?
Because people just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, because at that time, I'm thinking, like, I'm not trying to get a lease. I'm like, I don't have that yet. I don't have equipment. Like, so.
You're just freewheeling here.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, like, hey, we're working out.
We're just chilling.
So he was like, hey, listen, I got an option for you. He took me down in this basement. He's like, what you think? Now, check this out. There's no windows. No bathroom, no running water, and it is a basement. So what you think of a basement is just dirty, right? Dark. And he was like, what you think? I was like, I love it. I'm with it, right? So he moves me down there. He's like, I'm going to give you, like 3-4 months to start rolling. He's like, then we're going to talk about a lease. So at that point, I was like, all right, fire's on the table. All right, I said, that's fair. Let's make it happen. So in that moment, I'm on the grind. I'm trying to get these kids, and all my point was to get results. I knew I had a great philosophy. I knew I had a great program. I had the culture that I wanted to build within it. I just had to keep pressing it. And remember, there's no money now, right? I'm not getting really any money. I'm still doing the other jobs. Got the family, got the wife upstairs in the salon. That's rolling. So when you talk about obsession, right? Like at this point, you have to be obsessed, dude. There's no benefit in this right now. But I had a vision. So it was like, hey, I got to do it the way I want it to be done because I know what this is going to be one day. So started getting the kids working in results, and it just organically kept growing, man. And then we had like a reputation. It was cool because there was no signs, like, so you didn't know where it was. And all you would hear about it was like, oh yeah,
it was like this underground, literally underground thing.
Right. Underground gym, man. And like they do all this crazy stuff, right? Like that's what it was. And as you can imagine, you get dirty, right?
Yeah.
Right. You get dirty. So the funny thing looking back at that is a lot of the times I would be able to pull from the salon. So when my wife had clients, if they had kids, I would say, hey, I train athletes. I would love to train, your son or daughter down in the gym I have downstairs. So now in the salon, it's nice, it's all beautified and it looks good, right?
Nobody's getting dirty there.
Yeah, nobody's getting dirty. So they're like, yeah, nice guy. Like, yeah, sure. So the funny thing would be, like, I wish I had tape or like video of the faces of the parents that would walk down those steps when they first entered.
The first, yeah.
Because, dude, it's crazy. But like in that moment too, I was so confident about what I was doing. It didn't matter, right? So, but like when they walk down, you come down into this dungeon setup,
and you're like, hear me out.
Yeah. Like I'm just like, look, here's a waiver. This is what it costs.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, what the fuck is this, dude? Right? Like,
yeah. Like, what are you doing?
I get it, but like, hey, this is different, dude. Like, you're gonna get results. Your kid's gonna get results here. And so they were like real reluctant on signing anything and paying. I was like, oh, okay, this ain't gonna last, right? But the thing is, I would kill it, and the kids would love it, and that's how it kind of started, just organically from that moment. And the funny thing is, we used to kick people out. We had so much stuff, dude. I had to make my equipment because I didn't really have the money to fund it yet, right? Had to make my equipment. We kicked people out. People would say, dude, you're crazy. Like, you're trying to build a business, but you're turning down money. But I knew what I wanted. And you know how like the saying is like one bad apple, right?
Yeah, it the whole bunch.
I was like, dude, if you don't fit, like this doesn't fit for you. Because I knew I had to build a core group of people so that as I grew, when people came in, they understood, right, what the culture was. And that's what I needed to do. So I had to make those decisions where I would sit down with people and say, hey, man, sorry, no hard feelings, but this is just not a good fit. And like, how, what? Like, people are like, what, you're kicking me out, but I'm paying you. I was like, here's your money back, all of that, because I knew what I wanted, And we had other cool things. So when people throw up, like we had a full tub of garbage. So if you threw up, you had to take the garbage with you. So the garbage could have been filled to the top.
So you got to take the garbage out.
Take the garbage out.
Part of the team here.
It's part of the team, man. And I told him, like, yo, don't wear white shoes down here. Don't wear white at all. All right. Make sure you go to the bathroom before you come down here.
Empty everything out.
Yeah. That was it, man. But we got it done down there, man. It was a special place.
Wow.
It was a special
place. That's wild.
So
you got results.
Yeah.
And it worked.
That was it.
Right?
That was it, dude.
And what was the next phase? How did you then take it to the next level?
Yeah.
What was that moment
So
like?
From that moment, it was like, all right, hey, listen, we got a good thing going, right? Still no business to it, really. Right, I didn't have no marketing or signage or any of that. Like, it was
all word of mouth.
Yeah, right, word of mouth, and we, like I said, no bathroom, no running water, no windows. Like, this wasn't legit. And we had an opportunity on a building down the street, and both me and my wife, we set up shop. There was 2 spaces. She took the front, I took the back, and that's really where I like clicked in and dialed up a little bit. So now I was like, boom, all right, let's go, let's invest a little bit. Dropped some turf, dropped the rubber flooring, got a new rack, got a couple equipment pieces, so it added a new element, right? About 1,500 square feet, but that was really where the business started coming in, right? Like I was like, all right, let's take this serious now. Let's like put the business pieces to this, and that's really where like Fame Strength started to brand, because the logo was out, people were here. Now I'm dropping on social media a little.
Why
bit.
Fame?
So Fame was funny story with Fame. So I was thinking of a name, right? And my first name was JM Sports Performance, right? Josh Mason Sports Performance, right? But I was like, man, that's typical, dude, right? And my thought was like, I want something bigger than me. Like, I don't want it to just be me, right? So I was like, let's take the spotlight off of me. I want it bigger than that. And one of my buddies, we were walking out of the original place one day, and he's just like, he's talking. And for some reason, dude, like he said something like, you can't get famous without the fame. But like what we were talking about was LinkedIn. And I don't know specific, but I remember a light bulb going off in my head. And I was like, yo, what'd you say? And he repeated, and I was like, fame. I was like, dude, that's it. He was like, what? I was like, that's the name. And he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, we're going to run with it. Let's run with it. So it started Fame Strength and Conditioning. So now what fame means, and a lot of people don't know this, I would bet a lot of the members don't even know this. So F is for fitness, A is for athletics, M is for muscle, and E was for endurance. So it was fitness, athletics, muscle, and endurance. And that was Fame Strength, but it was Fame Strength and Conditioning. So then we, later as we grew, we shortened it, made it Fame Strength, but made a block logo, turned it the brand a little bit. But that's how it popped off.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was different, right? It was different.
Yeah. Why did you want to be so different?
The thing is I'm always, that's just my way of thinking. Like I always like to be different, or like, unique in a sense. So for this was like, hey, I already knew I was bringing something different to the table with the training style that I was putting out there. So it was like, with the brand, it has to be different, dude. With the logo, it has to be different. It has to be something where people are like, man, what is that? And that was why I was doing that, because you don't want to get caught up in the same space with the regular, right? And we have a saying too, is like, average is bullshit. So like, nothing average. Like average is bullshit. So it was like, all right, we're taking it up.
I love it. Next level.
Yeah, next level.
I love that because, like you said, the whole average thing, I think that's, like you said, there's a lot of gyms around.
Yes.
And a lot of them are probably alike.
Sure.
And for you to be able to, start another gym, there's so many options around.
Right.
Like you have a lot to choose from.
Yes.
Put it that way. And to be able to stand out and build something different. And I think one of the other things that you also built, you touched on a little bit, was the culture.
Yep.
Like building a culture of the right fit of people. Like what was that like? What was the culture like? Like what type of culture, besides just not being average, right? What was that culture like when you going back to when you said you kind of threw people out that didn't fit?
Right.
Like what was the culture? What were you trying to build?
So think about. Let's go back to the story. Remember, get your mind right. So
Yeah.
that was where I made my switch. Right. Get your mind right. So that followed me. And that followed the gym, and that followed what I was starting. So it was the same motto in the gym: get your mind right. So if you want to say, hey, it was a mental toughness type of setup, yes, 100%. So this was for the people that took it serious, that wanted to put in work, and wanted to be better than average. Like that's what I wanted to create, right? Yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah, it's going to suck. But the benefits are going to be extremely rewarding. Right. So like, that's what it was. I needed people to understand that were committed, that were obsessed, and was willing to sacrifice to get great results. Right. So like, that's what I wanted. I wanted people around me. Not only I wanted people around and in there that were successful on the outside too. Right. So like, see what we were doing here. We were trying to put the like-minded individuals in the same room. Right? About the same thing. So it was just like, you had no choice but to elevate or grow.
Boom.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. I think you deserve the goat chain.
Oh, yo, I was looking
Yeah,
at
yeah,
this,
yeah.
man, and I was like, damn,
You're like-
what's up with the goat chain?
Getting the getting the goat chain.
I like that, dude.
Yeah. There you go, man. You,
Yeah.
Want me to do it?
Dapper,
Want me
yeah,
to- want me to do it? I
come
gotta
on,
do it.
man,
All
do
right,
it the right way, right? Like,
I'm
please,
sorry.
please, man.
Sheesh.
You know, don't make me work, right? Like, go ahead, bless me, brother. Okay, not bad, man. The goat chain. That's it. Oh, that goes nice with the fit too. What you think?
Wow.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is
That might be.
oh
the
my
move.
God. Look at
Yeah,
this.
I might have to walk out with that
Wow.
one, man. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I might have to let you borrow that.
Yeah. You
Oh
might.
my God.
I'm shining.
Big time.
I'm shining.
You're
All right,
shining.
I like it. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that, dude. You know?
Yeah, no, I love it's people like you, man, that I like to have on this show.
Yes.
You know? Like the culture and everything that you built, the brand you built, your mindset, your mentality, just everything.
Yeah.
You know, like this is what my show's about too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like this whole thing is like we're like meshed.
Yeah, man. It's the
We're like-
energy vibes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just having, like you said, having the like-minded people
Yep.
and putting them all in the same room, you know, and you're, you know, like what you're doing, you're not just, these people aren't just training, right? They're not just getting stronger
Right.
and more fit.
Right.
Like they're training their mind,
Yeah, man.
right?
100%. You
Right?
ask anyone, that's what it is.
Like, you know, so I think, and you kind of said it a little bit, it's like these people are building something also outside of the gym,
Yes.
right? And it's like whatever they're doing to get themselves
Yep.
to that next level
Right.
outside of the gym.
Yep.
And what you do is part of that process,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Prepare.
It's crazy.
Prepare, man. And the thing is so we're trying to get your mind right. So like when we say the motto, get your mind right, like yes, it can be utilized inside the gym. So if you're pulling a big lift, get your mind right, let's go, let's get it up, right? Or you're running sprints and you're about to throw up. Come on, get your mind right. You can make the last one.
You take the garbage out.
Yeah, take the garbage out, right? But you can use get your mind right in all facets. So like that was my point. It wasn't like, hey, this is not just a gym thing, right? This is a lifestyle, dude. Like this is going to work in your marriage. This is going to work in your business. This is going to work in your life with your kid. Anything that you do, if you get your mind right, you can make anything happen.
Dude,
You know what I'm saying?
if I had a second goat chain right now,
You will goat me again?
you'd be
Yeah.
wearing it again. You'd be double goated.
Double goated.
Yo,
That's it,
seriously,
man. Yeah.
seriously. Yeah, man, I love that. I really enjoy, you know, seeing somebody like you doing
Yeah.
something like that. You know, I'm obsessed about the podcast thing, but like I'm obsessed about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
good.
you're like what you're doing, like it gets me all fired up.
Right?
Like I'm fired up about you
Yes.
and your brand.
Yeah.
And just in the whole thing around it, man.
Yeah, the
Like,
vibes,
you're doing
dude.
it right
Yeah. Appreciate that.
because you're doing it right.
yeah.
You know, and not a lot of people do.
No, and you know what? I really, where I think it comes from also is understanding your purpose. And at the end of the day, it took a while for me to get there. But as I matured, I found the purpose. The purpose was, like, I want to have a positive impact in as many lives as I can, right? So, like, I use vehicles such as fitness in my gym and, you know, now the podcast, like, and speaking. And that's what I do. So those are vehicles and tools that I utilize that I can have a positive impact in as many lives as I can. Because as you see what I did, like people hearing that story should become inspired, right? Or, you know, understanding like maybe they don't have the resources or the support around, but like when you hear the nuggets and the gems that drop, like, dude, it could just take that one thing said, it like, man, I'm with it. Like, let's go.
Change your life.
Change your life.
It literally could.
Yep.
It really could. So, you know, talk about that for a second too, because you touched on it a little bit, but you know, you started a podcast recently, right? So, you know, we're kind of like in the same thing now,
man.
right? In the same space. I love having talking and collaborating with other
Yes.
podcasters. So I feel like there's a lot of other collaborations down the line between you and I.
100%.
For sure.
100%.
For sure. And maybe Jimmy Martin in there
Yeah,
too.
we'll have to throw
Jimmy
Jimmy
T.
in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. We'll be sliding in.
Slide
right,
in
right.
the podcast.
But yeah, so touch on the podcast a little bit.
Yeah,
for
so
you.
that's a recent adventure, man. So we just dropped that this year. So my partner Matt Flanagan.
Shout out to Matt.
Shout out to Maddie Flans. Everyone knows Maddie. But yeah, we decided like, hey, listen, dude, like what we're doing, you know, in this gym and using this vehicle to motivate and inspire people, you know, why not have another platform, another vehicle where we can talk? And the thing is that him and I had so many conversations where I'm like, damn, dude, that would be a dope ass podcast. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or we would have talked and we were like, yo,
so you're already having these conversations that you're like, yo, we should that should have been recorded.
Right.
Like that should have been recorded.
And it was happening too many times. I was like, dude,
we're wasting. This is a waste
of camera here, like when we're talking, dude.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, let's just start a podcast, man. And that's kind of how the wheels turn. So now we have a blast. We're I think we're dropping the 10th episode. So we're in the beginning stages, but it's fun. You know, it's another opportunity, another platform where we can speak, inspire, motivate, meet new people, and understand their stories too, right? And try to link those habits and strategies of success.
Yeah. So it's all right. So who do you have on?
So it's called 2 Down 1 Over, right? Podcast, which is funny because the name is linked into. So Maddie got it from his coach, and 2 Down 1 Over is essentially is 2 down, right? So head to chest, and 1 over is your heart. So he said, as he was, playing basketball, his coach would be like, "Let's go, 2 down, 1 over." And I was like, "Damn, I never heard of that." And it was like more or less like deep down, like you got to go down and get this. This comes from your heart, right? And I was like, "Oh man, get your mind right." Like it's very similar. So I was like, you know what? Let's roll with it, dude. Like that's the podcast, 2 down, 1 over. So far, we interview individuals that are, successful, that we've seen a pattern of traits or habits that they can lend, to others, where their story, I feel like, can make an impact and people want to hear and listen to. So we've so far got a couple coaches in the area that were, big time coaches. And then just recently we interviewed Mia Hopkins, the Harlem Globetrotter.
Yeah.
I'm sure
shout out to Mia.
Yeah. Shout out to Mia, Star Mia Brands, right? Which is cool. So in our light is like, hey, listen, one, you get to hear our voices, right? Other than being from the gym environment. But also we get to ask questions to individuals that have a unique story or great, success that we can then lend out to our listeners. And as far as remember, we have a lot of athletes that we train and that are part of the brand. And we have a lot of adults that are part of the brand. And we're just trying to be consistent. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you doubled down on this whole thing now.
Yeah, man.
Now fitness, the podcast, you doubled down on just getting people and not only train them physically, but mentally.
Yeah, man.
That's
where it's at.
Yeah.
And it's not work. That's the beauty of it, right?
Yes.
It's not work. So
Yes.
I enjoy doing it. I love doing it. And I think about it every day.
Yeah.
Right. I'm obsessed. So it's a natural thing that drops on the table.
It's awesome. Dude, I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. This whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. You brought a book too.
Yeah.
What's the significance
to
this book?
The magic of thinking big, right? David Schwartz. So the reason I brought this was probably the moment, the first book I read. Remember when I was in that rut?
Yep.
This was a book that I grabbed. And I think the title kind of just called me. I was like, magic of thinking big. Because obviously you had to change the mindset, right?
Right. So
you're
big. Yeah, you're trying to figure out, all right, how am I going to change my mind?
Right. I got to get my mind right. What do I have to do? So this book was handy, man, and dropped so many nuggets and gave me such guidance as I'm reading it. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing that it did for me was...
On the Stacks will be back in a flash after a word from our sponsor. When our doctors or hospitals fail us, the lives of our clients and their families are often forever changed. Whether it's a birth injury or a botched surgery, a misdiagnosis or a medication mix-up, there's a severe impact on our clients and really that of their entire family. We have a team of experts that we rely on to get the answers for our clients.
To learn more, visit Anzalone Law offices online at anzalonelaw.com. Welcome to the future. While you're hearing this ad in the present, the Center for Technology Innovation at Lackawanna College is preparing students for the jobs of tomorrow in the world of advanced technology. The The Center for Technology Innovation will offer undergraduate degree programs, corporate training, as well as short-term stackable certificates in areas such as robotics, cybersecurity, electric vehicles, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. Based at a 90,000 square foot facility in downtown Scranton, Pennsylvania, the Center for Technology Innovation is located 2 hours from the major cities of New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and is just 15 minutes from a commercial airport in a region thriving with tourist attractions and a vibrant restaurant, educational, and cultural scene. Lackawanna College is a proven industry-leading innovator. But don't just take my word for it. Fast Company even recognized Lackawanna College's reputation for innovation by naming them to their top 10 list as one of the world's most innovative companies. For more information or to enroll, call 877-346-3552 or visit lackawanna.edu. And now we're back on the Stacks.
Validate my thinking process, right? Because think about this. You're from Hanover?
Yeah.
All right. So
we're like rivals.
Yeah, rivals,
Yeah,
right? Straight up.
Myers
so
guy.
South Wilkes-barre, right? All day. So here's the thing. We got small little, towns. And there's not a lot of big thinking going on in these small towns.
Yeah, there's not.
Right?
There's not, man.
And when you say it is, it's like, hey, yeah, man, you get a good job, you get your house, set up your family, and you're good. You coast. Like, that's it,
There's
right?
too much coasting going on around here.
That's the ceiling. And I wanted more. And I was like, there's more than that, right? And I would always have these big thoughts. But it was like, man, like, no one else is thinking like me. So there's times where it was like weird. Like, I'm like, damn, like, why? Like, this is natural for me to think this way, or like, have these visions. And there were others that didn't really. And I was like, man, I got to do it different. So anyways, when I read this book, it validated that, like, you should be thinking like that. Like, the issue is that when we're young, you think huge. And then as you get older, it gets tighter and smaller and smaller and smaller, and then you're capped off.
And then people shit on your goals. Shit on your goals, and you become so obsessed with, hey, like, I could build this $100 million company, and people are like, yo, you're nuts, dude.
Right?
Like, what are you talking about? Right?
Right. So
that
then
happens.
You either start believing it, you get discouraged, you get knocked down. So like, there's so many things that squeeze that thinking, because when we're little, we think huge.
Yeah.
Right. We have the biggest imagination. So the thing this book is telling you is like, dude, you don't lose that. Like, don't lose that. You need to think big.
Yeah. I think far too often nowadays.
Yeah.
That's lost.
Yes.
It is.
100%.
It's lost, man. And so many people.
Yep.
And I get mad about that.
Oh, I do too.
I get so fired up, dude, because like you said, and I've said this before, I think a few times on the show, it's like when you're a kid, just like you said, like, it didn't matter. Like, you do anything, you
say it,
crazy
right.
good, crazy goals. You'll try anything. You'll keep falling down. You'll keep getting back up, and people encourage you then.
Right.
Like, as a kid, people will encourage you.
You can do anything.
Yeah, people encourage you, right?
If you believe you can, you could do it, right?
Yeah,
like, then you stop hearing that shit.
Yeah, and then then once you grow up, all that kind of,
you gotta get a job, man. You gotta get real life.
Yeah, all that goes away.
Yeah,
you know, and people don't encourage it enough. And I think it's so important for people like you and I to encourage this. Read that book.
Yes.
Go to your gym.
Yes.
Somehow become part of your brand and your podcast and everything that like you're doing,
man. Right? Like,
so
invest
important.
in yourself.
It's so important.
That's because if you're not, who is?
Right? Nobody.
Nobody. So,
nobody. And nobody cares. Nobody's gonna care.
Nope.
Not
at all, man.
No one's gonna care.
No. And that was big for me. So like, the validation behind it was like, oh, okay, this is the way I'm supposed to be thinking. I'm not different. I am different, but it was like, it's okay to be different.
Right.
You get it?
And once you finally realize, like, okay, hey, I think there's, when you become like obsessed about something, right? You start to think like, man, you start to second guess yourself even, right?
Yep.
It probably happened with you. Like, you may have lost some friends.
Yep.
Maybe some family were saying like, dude, like, slow down, bro.
Right.
Like, dude, like, chill.
Yeah.
Are you good?
And I'm like, yo, what you
You're
talking
like,
about, right?
Are you good? You know what I mean? People probably, like, they see how hard you're working.
Right.
Right. People see that and they're like, yo, like, this guy's like, next level. Like, I wonder if he's all right.
Yeah.
You know?
And it goes to this where I have a problem with getting complacent. Like, if I feel myself or like I'm always looking around and I'm like, am I getting complacent? because I have to keep, because
that's a big one.
Remember, we're still in a small area, right? So you could get caught up
real quick,
right? Like you're doing all right, man. Like, and when people say, like, Josh, you're doing awesome, man. You got 2 locations, rock and rolling. It looks, everything's successful. And but me, I'm like, nah, I'm just starting. And I'm like, business wise, 12, 13 years in the game. And I'm like, I'm just starting, dude.
Scratching the surface,
like,
man.
We
barely got out of that basement.
Wait till you see the vision.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going on in my head. Like, wait, we're not even close. Like, this is just on the way. And that, you got to keep that. Like, that's the magic. You got to keep that. And like, I see it in your story a little bit too, man. Same thing. Yeah. Right? Like, you're the big dog on the podcast, right? We see that in that area. Like, you're the big dog. So what you keep doing is leveling up. And that's good, man, because it shows that you're taking on a bigger approach, right? Like, like you're like, yo, I want
picture.
I want to think big.
Yeah.
I want to think big. Like, it's like you could get comfortable just saying, hey, we're just going to do a little podcast in that back room.
Yeah,
and
I'm
this
just
is it.
chilling. This is fun. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. This is what I do.
Right.
But you're like, yo, no, this is what I do. Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hats off.
Same thing. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.
Same thing. Like, even for myself too. I feel like people, at first they're like, yo, like, what are you doing here?
Sure.
Like, what's this about? Like, why are you doing this? I'm just like, at first I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Yeah. Right. But then, like you said, I had a bigger picture, a bigger vision, and the bigger vision, similar to you, is, just building something that's much bigger than yourself. Yep. To kind of serve others. Yes. While simultaneously, selfishly serving yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Why not? What I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it's not doing anything good for you, then you're not gonna be able to help anyone else. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So, but yeah, man, it's crazy. Like this whole, like this whole journey of this whole thing, and it's wild, man. It's inspiring. Like people just I get more fired up every week when I have on somebody like you. Yeah. Seriously. You know what I mean? Like having
great hearing stories, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And just and having people that share the similar mindset.
Right.
I think is so important because, like you said, you just get so caught up.
Yes.
In I'm just average. I'm just good. I'm just gonna get that job and do that thing.
Comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the complacency thing for you, how do you keep yourself from falling into that complacent mindset?
Yeah.
Like, is there something you do?
So the thing is like, I think it's all about like habits, right? And being consistent with your habits. So like, I like to read, I listen to audio books a lot, right? So I look for inspiration, and look for ways. Now I have the vision, like the big vision, right? And that stays there. And it's like, how do I put these pieces together? When I feel like I'm not doing anything or I don't have nothing planned or something, like I'm like, oh shit. Like, hold up.
Yeah, whoa.
Like I get anxiety. I'm like, yo, something's not right.
I got to start doing something.
I got to start plugging and playing here. And, you get used to then finding things, like, figuring it out and reaching outside of your box, right, to grow, because that's an important piece. So as you become successful, you have to understand that comes growth, right? And growth only comes from experience. So you have to experience things. You have to take risks, right? And sometimes calculated risk, for that matter, for you to grow. And that's my thing. Like, that's what keeps my fire. Is like, all right, what's next? There's always like, what's next? Okay, all right, this is where we're at. What's the next move? Okay, we're gonna put this in place. Boom. All right, what's the next move? Boom. All right, what's the next move? And that's what it is. So I have a thing I say I'm always moving the needle. So for me, as long as I'm moving the needle, I'm good. Like that for me, like personally, is like, hey, just keep moving the needle. As long as that needle's moving. And whatever I got to do to move that, then we're good. If the needle kind of gets stuck, I know I'm like, all right, look around. We got to make changes or whatever that is. But it's always moving the needle, and it doesn't have to go jump super big. It's just notching.
Just little bit at a time. That's it, man. One step, just right? One step.
Yep.
One more thing.
That's it. Small victories.
Yeah, I love that. Small victories, sometimes micro losses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But listen, in that loss, you learn something.
Oh, for sure.
And you're going to grow from that, and you're going to maybe adjust, right? You're going to go back to the drawing board, which is great. which is great.
Yeah. And by the way, like you're on goat level 10 now, I think.
Oh, nice.
If there was, dude, if
Come
I
on.
had 10 goat chains,
Oh, I'm here with
I-
10.
I might go buy 9 and send them to you.
All right, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're really dropping the nuggets today,
Nice.
man. Yeah,
good
and
stuff.
I guess it, going back to our buddy Jimmy too, man. Whoever people that he recommends to this show,
Yeah.
he always recommends good people.
Yeah. Top dogs.
So yeah, that's
There you
right.
go.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jimmy.
yeah. We got to pump him up a little too,
Yeah, Jimmy's
So
the
because he's
man.
gonna be watching
Yeah,
this,
yeah. Jimmy's the man. We know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, man. So this is great, man. I appreciate you coming in, getting to know a
Yeah.
little bit about you and the mindset.
Right.
Get your mind right.
That's right.
And man, I'm impressed. Like it's just so cool and fun to me to be able to have conversations with people like you, because I think the same exact way that you do,
Yes.
and not that,
It's
not,
refreshing.
yeah, it's refreshing. And
Yes.
of course, obviously people are gonna be like, oh, well, you should talk to people who have different, maybe different different mentalities, whatever. And that's fine,
Yeah,
but it's just so, to be able to get into this type of and depth of a conversation
Yeah.
on these things, and for people to be able to hear this stuff, I think it's so important.
Oh, super important.
It's so important.
It's, I mean, like I say, like
People should be consuming more of this content
100%.
because, there's going to be that one person, probably more, that are going to watch this and listen to this, and they're going to be so inspired by like what you said and what you've done that they're going to do something.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, man.
That's what it's about.
That's it.
I mean, like you hit it on the head, man. That's the satisfaction for me personally, is like understanding if I can help in that process, dude. Like it goes all back, right? To just like if you can make that impact in someone's process or journey to elevate, to level up, to change the game because you're that example, right? And it wasn't given to me, so like I had to work for everything. I had to hustle and grind out there to make it where I'm at today, and it's still not over, dude. I'm still in that mentality.
You're just starting.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just starting, man. We just launched the second location 2 years ago, so like that was big, right? It was like, man, all right, let's duplicate the process. Got this rocking and rolling. That's doing successful. People love it in the back mountain. Teamed up with Matty Flanagan, and he's a top notch dude, so that went great. And it's still about leveling up. Now it's like, yo, dude, listen, we have it now. All right, let's like really start to stretch this thing, So that's where I'm at right now. Is the growth mindset, scaling, and just trying to figure out what I can do as far as making those impacts and what vehicle I need to utilize and what tools I can offer to others.
For sure.
Yeah,
and if you ever want any help with your podcast, I know you guys are rocking and rolling on your way, but man, I'd love to see if there's any way I can help you with that too, because
most definitely.
I want to see you succeed in doing that, because I'm doing it too, and it's like I love just working with other people that are trying to do similar things, man.
And that's the beauty, is like you enjoy other people's success, right?
Yeah.
Like so many times there's people out here that hate.
Yeah, and
right?
they'll
throw shade.
Yeah, throw shade, or like we could become like enemies because this guy's doing a podcast too. Like what? No,
but it's
man.
not about, because there's enough.
Yeah.
Right. So and that's how like-minded, because I'm the same way. We were discussing Joe prior to this thing, and like just listening to the successes. Like, dude, I love that. I love hearing people that or people around that are becoming successful with you. Like, starting this off where you started and where you're at today, like that's awesome. That's amazing. Like, I want to link up with you. I want to talk with you. Like, that's great, dude.
Yeah.
And it's not about being a rival. It's more or less like, hey,
how
listen.
How can we help each other?
Yeah, how can we help each other?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're on the same wavelength, right? We got the same energy, so let's like put it together and see what we could do with it.
Right. Yeah, you're trying to get to the next level with one thing. I'm trying to get to the next level with either the same thing or another thing, and it's like, man, like we can all help each other. You never know who knows who.
Right. Networking's huge.
Like,
right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's just.
But I mean, you do need haters, though.
Oh my God. Yeah. I actually love it.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. You need haters.
Yeah, I love them though.
Yeah, 100%.
They're actually some of your biggest fans.
Yeah. Like hate. Like, there's a saying, and they said, as long as they said, if you don't have any haters, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, if you don't have any haters, you're not doing it right.
That's right. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love. I don't know. I feel like I've always been like an underdog.
Yeah.
I have like that underdog mentality, kind of chip on my shoulder kind of thing. And I don't think like that ever goes away,
Nah.
you know?
No, that
And
stays
that's
on.
like, it keeps you
Yep.
motivated,
It does.
you know? Even on the days when you're not motivated, because
Right.
that happens a lot,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you can't always be motivated.
No.
No.
And like to be consistent,
Yep.
it's like some days it's hard,
Yeah, discipline.
you know? And
Get your
it is.
mind right.
It's right. Get your mind right.
So when you feel yourself slipping, like, man, get your mind right.
Call Josh.
Yeah, get your mind right.
Get
I'm
your-
gonna get you. I'm gonna get you the band.
Yeah,
too,
you gotta
just
get me
so
one
you
of
have
those.
it,
Yeah,
alright?
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be rocking that,
'Cause
man.
then you're just like, you right.
Was it check the
Yeah,
wrist?
Yeah. When in
When in
doubt.
doubt.
Yeah. Check the wrist out.
Check the wrist out. There it is. Goat level 20.
Yeah, that's it.
Goat level
Here we
20,
go.
man.
Let's go.
Dude, this is fun.
It is, man.
This is super
I
cool.
enjoy this. This is great conversations. This is good for the people.
It is,
You know, to be exposed to that.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So what were you gonna say?
So tell me about like
Oh, yeah.
your
Yeah.
your
I was-
obsession, man.
Yeah, man, I was just gonna say I was gonna have to give you the opportunity
Yeah.
because Jimmy's always encouraging me to encourage the guest.
Yeah.
Because what the things that don't happen a lot on my show is that people don't really
Hear from you.
hear from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to, Jimmy's encouraging me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to do more of that, you know.
So tell me
Yeah.
like what was your turning point? Like what was something that you feel like this is when it all changed. This is when I thought different. This is
Yeah, so like with the podcast specifically, there's been more than one person that actually told me, you ready for this? That my podcast changed their life.
Damn. Yeah, so
Right?
so then you were like,
I'm like, whoa,
Right.
wait a second. So this is going back, like a couple of years ago, right?
yeah,
I don't think I've ever had anybody in my life
tell you
ever
that.
tell me that I
Right.
changed their life,
Right.
and it was all because of a podcast.
Yeah. no,
Like,
I dig
what?
that. I dig that.
How?
So then you knew you
How?
were like, wait a second.
It's like, whoa, wait a second. There's like something going on here.
Yep.
Like this isn't just a podcast.
Right.
And it wasn't. I don't know what the exact example was, and but it was just a matter of like maybe it was just because of the whole show. Maybe they listened to a specific episode that really was like, that changed my life.
Yep.
But in the grand scheme of things, like they said, you're responsible for that because like you do this show, right? And it's like
Incredible.
like that, and it's been more than one person, than two people, and then there's been other people who like would message me and be like, yo.
And this is in the beginnings, right?
Yeah, this is like this is like 100 episodes. This was like 100 episodes ago.
Right.
Now we're up to like this is like 145 or something like.
yeah.
So, when people told me those things, I guess number one, like I said, no one's ever told me that.
Right.
Right. I don't think I ever thought I could ever do something to be at that level.
Yep.
We'll say, right. And it's impactful, man. It's super impactful.
Yeah.
Like that is just so, I don't know. I don't really have any other words other than it was so impactful to me that they were impacted that much. I was like, yo, I need to do more of this.
Right.
I need to do more of this because
How do I get better?
yeah, it's
Right.
helping people like that,
Yeah.
And somebody said like, hey, I, because I was listening to your show, like I quit my job. They're like, I was listening to all the people you've had on their show and I gained the courage to quit my job and somebody else was like, I applied for, I wasn't going to leave this like company that I was at cause it was like a good company. And they're like, I finally got the courage to apply outside and so basically kind of, they got to like the ceiling in their current job and was like, this is just, it's not enough.
That's it.
But they were comfortable. And then they were like, yo, I got the courage to take that risk and, go to a different company, like leave this company and do something totally different at a different company. Right. And it's like hearing those things is just very cool.
Right.
And just the impact that it creates on these people. And I often say like, I don't want people like listening to this show forever, which is like a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like
So
I
you
want
them to move on
yeah.
to
Like-
bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that person did that.
But if
he
you
stopped,
could propel-
he stopped listening to my show.
Yeah, but it propelled them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's a contradiction because yes, I want,
Yep.
I want to retain the listeners, for as long as I could. But at the same time, like, there's only so much you can consume.
Yes.
There's only so many books you can read. There's only so many podcasts you can listen to. There's only so much advice
Right.
you can listen to from somebody else telling you like, hey, this is what you should do. Or, hey, here's the steps. Blah, blah, blah. You can only lead a horse to water, right? You can't make him drink. And it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's the same thing here. As much as I want you listening to my show every single week for the rest of your life for as long as I'm doing this, as much as I want that, man, like, still keep doing that to support me, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, if somebody's listening to my show to really just to kind of inspire, motivate themselves and learn from the people on my show, to be able to get outside of the box.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
To be able to do that, it's like, there's gonna be a point where they're not gonna listen to the show anymore.
Yeah, and that's reality, right?
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a good thing. As much as, like I said, as much as I don't want people, just moving on, listen to just that's it, moving on. But like, that's when that you've had an impact.
So at that point, you say, okay, wow, this is like a game changer.
Yeah, like this is a real thing here.
So let me start to take this a little more serious.
Yeah,
is that kind of where the switch went
and
in?
I think too, I've always had a lot of people just telling me like, hey, like multiple people have offered like, hey, how can I advertise on the show, or can I advertise on the show? And like up until like that point, whenever that was, like it was, I didn't have any anticipation, or I wasn't actually planning on, like when I started this, it was just for fun.
Right.
It was just for fun, and maybe in the back of my mind a little bit, I was like, oh, maybe someday, like I'm thinking like pie in the sky, maybe someday I can make money from it, right? But it wasn't like I started. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to start this podcast and I'm going to make $1 million.
Yeah. Right.
Not that I'm making $1 million right now.
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
One day.
One day. But it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to start this podcast and I'm gonna monetize it. That wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a thought. It was just put some cool people together, talk to them, and maybe in some way it'll benefit me, monetarily, like I'm building my network, right?
Yep.
But everything about it to me, obviously there was a little bit of a selfish thing because I'm building my network. I'm meeting other people.
Yeah.
I'm just, and it's selfishly helping me too.
Yes.
Like I learn so much from every single guest.
Right.
Everyone's always like, yo, what's been like a real impactful episode, or, what one did you learn so much from? I'm like, listen, yeah, some may be a little bit more impactful than others, but
you take from everyone.
Something from every single one. Something from every single one. Like even yours, like even though I have a similar type, I'll say like mantra, right, about my show. Like I have the my other hoodie that says mindset, right?
Yeah. So
and even though you're on kind of on that same level, and the wristband you have, like even that, like even though it's very similar to my mindset, theory, I'm still gonna like that's impactful to me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's gonna help me.
Yeah.
Even though I'm already kind of like doing that sort of thing,
right,
but it's just because it's different. It's a little different, And we met and we had this experience, and we never met before. Like literally, this is the first time meeting.
First time, man.
And just
I threw weights at you and everything,
dude. Yeah,
You know what I'm
worked
saying?
me out hard here, bro. Yeah.
That's typically how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, but like there's something to learn from everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're running $1 billion company or whether you have a $10,000, hobby that you only made $10,000 last year because it's like a hobby, but you're trying to make money from it. But there's still something to learn from that person.
Yeah.
And age wise, it doesn't matter too. It's like I've had people on the show that have been in their 70s. I've had people as young as 19 or 20 on this show. And sometimes I feel like people will be like, oh, what do they have to offer?
Right.
It's like, everybody.
Yeah, everyone has something.
Everybody has something
because
to offer.
everyone has different experiences, right?
Yeah.
So like you listen to the story and you can always gain something. And I agree with you. And that's how I operate in life, man. Wherever I go, new experiences or different arenas, so to speak. I'm just looking like, hey, what can I learn? Right? Like how can I learn? Because it can benefit you. Right?
Always.
Because I look at like remember I said I took 8 internships, right? That's a lot. But like every internship like kind of taught me something. Yeah. Like, and the funny thing is when I then started my own business, like I was able to grab those things.
Yeah, remember.
And plug them in.
Yeah, you're
right?
putting,
Because
it's like
of
all the
those
pieces to the
experiences,
puzzle.
Yes, were able to help me elevate within business because I was around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's good stuff.
I love it.
Right?
Love this.
So what's your next move?
Take it to the moon, obviously.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, no, this 2023, this year, I mean, I'm, I can't reveal all my cards.
Sure.
No, I'm kidding. I'll reveal them all because I really don't care because I've said this before because no one, I don't care about competition. Number one, not that I'm considering you or anyone else. First of all, I love competition.
Yes.
Number one, right? I'm a competitive guy in all aspects. But I'm not like, it doesn't scare me if somebody's going to try to do the same thing as me, because you're not going to outwork me.
Right.
I mean, like, it's, first of all, we're all trying to do the same thing, and anyone, right? If anybody wants to try to compete, that's fine. Like, that's fine. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, man. I think I'm different. I'm different in a lot of different ways, but also, you know, I'm obsessed with it.
Right.
And if you're not obsessed with it, you're not going to make it.
Right.
And I've become so obsessed with it, and I'm going to grow this thing. I'm going to build out some other shows.
Yep.
You know, maybe Jimmy Martin will start a podcast in that back. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Who knows, man?
Now you got a media thing going.
This is On the Stacks is a media company.
Yeah.
You know, there's no longer is it just, you know, On the Stacks with Bill Corcoran Jr., right? It's not just a podcast. And
Right.
I think a lot of people struggle to see beyond just my show, because for the longest time, it still kind of is, it's just this show. Right. But this, you know, I've, you know, over the last year, I've had some incredible, insanely big growth.
Yep.
And, you know, now 2022 was a foundational year for me.
Yeah.
And kind of like you said, like I'm just getting, I didn't even start. Like, I'm literally just getting started. 2022 was a foundational year for me. And now 2023 is going to be some growth. Yeah. There's going to be, well, not some growth. There's going to be a lot of growth. There's going to be a lot of growth, you know, but I'm going to venture into other,
man, right?
I'm going to venture into other areas of content, not necessarily me.
Sure.
But I want to have other podcasters kind of come in and, you know, we're going to build this thing together.
Yeah.
We're going to build this together. Other industries.
Yep.
Anyone, you know, anyone that's listening, interested, wants to team up and
go
to the moon. Let's go.
Yeah,
we're going to hop on that rocket with Elon, and
I like that.
We're going.
So talking about that, right? It's a new year, right?
Yeah.
So obviously everyone's like, oh man, I'm doing this,
I'm
doing that. So do you get excited for, like, hey, it's start of a new year, like, what is it gonna bring here? Let me put this out there. Like, do you get excited and pumped up for that?
Dude, I'm excited every minute of the day.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yep.
Kind of going back to, I think you said it earlier, but like, I'll always kind of moving the needle forward.
Yep.
I'm like, obviously have that same mindset, but I just, you know, I always, you know, I've got 1,000,001 ideas all the time.
Yeah, that's my issue.
Yeah, right? It's the same thing. I've got 1,000,001 ideas, and it's like, how do I execute on them all?
Right.
Right? And for me, it's like, sheesh, if I could replicate myself, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
I mean, obviously no one's ever going to be as excited about it as you or me, right?
Yeah.
You know, your own thing, your own business, right? I get that. But, you know, if I can replicate somebody that's like half as excited as me, they're going to do well.
Yep.
You know, I've got the blueprint here.
Yeah.
You know, I've written the playbook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I listen, I'm not trying to be like, you know, sound like a cocky idiot where, hey, I'm not the first podcaster. I'm not the best. I don't know everything, but I know a lot more than the average person doing this and trying to do this. So again, it's On the Stacks as a media company, and On the Stacks with Bill Corcoran Jr. is just going to be one sliver of the whole pie.
I like it.
One small slice of the whole pie. And how many times can I divide this pie?
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's going to be.
That's dope.
You know, and I'm going to do it, man. I've already got things in motion for, you know, maybe a possible couple additional shows this year. I got the space, I have the equipment, I have the knowledge, I have the people. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I believe it.
That's
You
it.
say you're going to do it, make it happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the more you say these things out loud, first of all, now it's going to hold me accountable.
Yeah, because people say, hey, Bill, didn't you say?
Yeah, Bill, you said you were going to do that.
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, listen, sometimes maybe I'll try one thing and it won't work.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, hey, you said you were going to do it and you're not doing it. Well, no, I did and it didn't work.
Right.
So then we just go over here.
That's it.
We just do this. We just, you know, move on, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's I got a lot of big plans. I'm trying to expand this thing. I'm trying to get more people involved.
Yep.
You know, yeah. Anyone that wants to help in any fashion, you know, anything, please reach out, DM me,
right?
Whatever.
Let's rock.
I'm an open book. I'm here for it all, man.
Yeah.
And you know, but also it excites me. Like when I said I want to help you with yours, man, it just excites me to be able to. The fact that I have the knowledge of what I have, again, not that I know everything,
right?
But you know, I feel like I could help so many people.
Yeah, man.
Like I've been doing this now for. The brand has existed for 4 years. The podcast only for 3 at this point. Okay. But like everything that I learned, the connections that I built all around the world, the partnerships that I have with the
Right,
platforms
dude.
out there right now,
Crazy.
like it's right there.
Yep.
It's like literally right there, and it's like all like at my fingertips, and I know I could do more.
Right.
I could do so much more on such a bigger level, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna take you up on that.
Yeah.
'Cause like
For
I
sure.
said, you're doing your thing, man, and I could definitely use some help
Yeah.
on the podcast game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah,
we'll make it happen.
Yeah. We'll fix
You know?
we'll fix you up a little bit. Yeah.
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 Turn
We'll
it
do it
up.
right.
That's it.
Another GOAT show.
That's it. Another GOAT show. We'll get Jimmy involved.
You know he's
Yeah,
already involved.
Yeah, he's already involved.
He's
You
al-
know
he's
that.
already involved.
We'll get it rocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. How about you? What's a big book for you?
A big book for me. One that I'm reading actually right now.
Yeah.
It's called Blue Ocean Shift.
Okay.
Okay. Shout out to Dr. Jill Murray, the president of Lackawanna College. She was on the podcast a while back. Her and I, just exchange ideas, stuff all the time back and forth. She's been a great, mentor to me too. Blue Ocean Shift. Again, I'm only halfway through it, so I can't speak a whole lot about it, but Google it. But I'll give you a little gist. It's basically, building and getting a company to the next level, without competing on price and just differentiating yourself. Kind of all the things that you were saying.
Yeah.
It's how do you take your company and make it so different than anyone else that you're not competing on price. You're so niche.
Yep.
And you're gonna leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Beyond the competition to the point that there basically is no competition.
Right.
That's basically what it's about. So how do you build your company, your brand to get to that point that you're not even.
And what's it called again?
Blue Ocean Shift.
Blue Ocean Shift.
Yeah, Blue Ocean Shift. I'm
Yeah,
really bad with
I'm gonna have to
names.
put that
Really bad with names,
on
but
the list.
yeah,
like
Blue
that.
Blue Ocean Shift, and it basically, let's see here. It's proven steps to inspire confidence and seize new growth.
Nice.
So that's what I'm on right now, and again, halfway through it. I can't wait to finish it. I'm addicted to it, and yeah, man, make a note of that. Anyone listening, watching, make a note of it.
Yeah.
Cop that book.
Cop that book.
Yeah, it's here somewhere actually. I think it's in the other room.
Nice. Now, you like to read or do you listen?
Both.
Okay.
But more so listen because I'm out of time,
Yeah.
right? So I do actually listen more than I read, but
Yep.
I still will actually buy the book too.
Right,
Because I like
right.
to have the physical book to be able to reference back to it.
Yep.
If I want to look at something. Plus, I just like having physical
Yeah.
things. It's just I don't know. It's a weird
No,
thing.
yeah, I've been the audio guy for recent time.
Yeah.
Because when I'm doing things, I'm just the book's running.
Always.
Right.
Yeah,
In my
yeah.
head. So
Always.
I'm making it work, and then I consume so much more in that light. So it's helpful.
Yeah.
you know?
Plus, I'm a slow reader.
Yeah.
So like for me to be able to just listen on the go,
Yep.
I can go at a regular pace. It's
Yeah.
like I'm like a slower reader.
Same.
So like I'm better at like listening to something or watching, watching a podcast or listening. So, but listening to the audiobook version, it's, for me, I consume it better.
Right.
I learn better.
Yeah.
But still like to look back and reference the physical copy
Yeah.
though too. Like you
Right.
got it's a bit of everything,
It is. I like it, dude.
yeah. So that's it, man. That's where I'm at. I'm ready to make my blue ocean shift. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
you figuring out your blue ocean shift
Okay.
to get yourself to that next
Yeah.
level.
I dig it.
So get it on the what do you got?
Yeah.
Audible.
Audible.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I got it on there,
Yeah.
and I have the physical copy.
There you go.
So
Yeah, I'll plug it on the list.
Yeah.
For 23.
for sure,
You know.
you got the blue sweater.
Yeah,
the
right?
whole
I'm
whole
in there.
vibe, dude.
Yeah.
The blue door, the
Yeah,
blue.
Oh yeah. What?
Oh my God,
Man,
jeez.
they should get a bigger check now, right?
Yeah,
Because you told me to wear blue.
that's right.
That's right.
Right. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, man.
I seriously, I can't thank you enough for coming on and dropping the GOAT knowledge.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
it's fun, man. I love this. We definitely have to do this even off the mics.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
we
saying?
we're gonna continue this conversation for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
way beyond this episode.
Right,
me
right.
and you, man,
I dig it.
and a little bit of Jimmy too. We'll
Yeah,
we'll
throw Jimmy in
throw
there.
Jimmy a little bit to
Get Jimmy in there.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah,
I dig it.
absolutely.
But yeah, this is healthy, man. This is good. It's a new year. It's great to expand your network. It's good to get with like-minded individuals like yourself. I'm all about it, man. People that got
sure.
high vibrations and good energy. That's who you want to put around you, right?
Definitely.
Actually, our last podcast that we did, 2 Down, 1 Over, is about who you surround yourself with, the importance of it. So like that's
So
the
important.
idea, man. Being around the people that you know elevate.
How can our listeners connect with you online, social media, find your podcast? Give me all the shout outs.
Yeah,
here.
you got it. I got a lot too now.
Go ahead.
On, all right?
Go ahead.
So
Do
you could check us on. So first of all, Fame Strength, right? Fame Strength. You know, leading performance, sports performance training, and adult training. You could check the website www.famestrength.com. You could check us out on Facebook, Fame Strength. We have Instagram, Fame Strength, and then we have our second location, famestrength.dallas. That is on IG also. You could check me out personally, Coach Josh Mason on the IG. Come look at that. And then our podcast, 2 Down, 1 Over.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Definitely. We're on YouTube. We have an IG page also. So that's a dope podcast that we're doing. So any of those outlets, you can get to me some way, somehow. And if you don't, you're just not trying hard enough.
That's right. And if you're not listening, if you're not following, your mind isn't going to be right.
No, get your mind right. What you doing?
Let's go.
Right? Like,
Let's
get
go.
your mind right. Stop playing.
That's right. All right, Josh Mason, get your mind right on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, thank you, brother.